Hello there guys, and welcome back to another review. And today we will be taking a look at the brand new PNSO Bart, the Pinacosaurus. Now, Pinacosaurus, which name means plank lizard, is a genus of ankylosaur that lived in the late Cretaceous period 75 to 72 million years ago in what is now Mongolia and China. It was around 5 meters long, around a meter tall, and 1.9 tons or 4,200 pounds in weight. Now, there are potentially two species that are known. We have, of course, Pinacosaurus grangeri, which this figure is based on, the type species, and a supposed second species called Pinacosaurus mephistocephalus, which is differentiated by the skull, as it has different spikes and ornamentation on it, and is known from a different area of China. Now, Pinacosaurus is actually one of the best known and best described members of the ankylosaur family. It's known from many remains, including many juveniles that have been found together. They were buried alive during sandstorms. So we actually have a pretty good idea of what this animal would have looked like. Now, another interesting fact about Pinacosaurus is that a juvenile was actually found with a hyoid bone. Now, a hyoid bone is actually a bone in the tongue. It is actually what connects it to the mouth. So it's suggested that Pinacosaurus may have had a large flat tongue to help pull vegetation into its mouth, and maybe also feed on a diet of insects, which would potentially make Pinacosaurus omnivorous, which, judging from its desert-like habitat, would have probably also helped it survive in this very arid, dry place. Now, the relatively light build of Pinacosaurus, quite squat, quite low to the ground, would probably have been an adaptation to gain agility to fight off small predators. It lived in the same time as Protoceratops, Velociraptor and Oviraptor, so would have definitely have needed the spikes and the club to help defend itself against the tiny but deadly Velociraptor. Now, Pinacosaurus is actually my favourite member of the ankylosaur family. I think it's just a very interesting animal, and as it's known from dozens of specimens, including, as I said, lots of juveniles, we have a pretty good idea of what it looked like with all of the armour and its general anatomy. So I think it's fantastic that PNSO have finally added this animal to their model range. Now, before we take a better look at the figure, as always, I will bring the box in. So here we have the box for Bart, the Pinacosaurus. We have the PNSO logo up here. Prehistoric animal models that accompany your growth. He's number 37, Bart, the Pinacosaurus. There's a really nice image there of Bart on the front of the box. Up here we have a shot of his back and tail. And there's the Chinese side. Of course, there's writing on the bottom. And we also have the booklet. Now, what's PNSO always include the booklet is the Chinese side, and here is the English side. So we have an image here of the back and tail of Bart, as well as a more close-up look here. At the very top, we have a skeletal diagram of Pinacosaurus and how long it was. So it says here, Bart the Pinacosaurus, being with companions makes me feel safe. So if you want to read that, you can there. And there. Yeah, I really like that it includes these booklets, so it gives a bit of character to these dinosaur figures. And here we have Bart himself, and what an impressive looking dinosaur this is. Now, the colour scheme, when it was first revealed, is very similar to the thorny dragon lizard, with these green and brown striping along the back and flanks of the animal, and actually I think it rather works with this guy. Very spiky boy. So if we bring him in for a closer look, you can see he actually has a very placid looking face, and I like that with this figure. So we have the eye there with it's actually there's a nice pink around the eye. We have a white stripe around the mouth. The beak has been picked out very nicely. We have the nostrils at the front, all these knobs and spikes along the head, well as the other side. See more of that nice sculpt and scales along there. As we go down the body, you can see he's just covered in these scutes and spikes, and they get much larger as they get to the hip area, with these very large spikes at the back. And there's the knobs and scutes along the top of the animal. Going down, of course, around the tail, we have some spikes up at the top of the tail, as well as a row of spikes along the side of the tail, going down, of course, to the iconic club that ankylosaurs are known to have. Along the side of the body we have more scutes and spikes, as well as some armour and scutes along the front legs. Would have probably added more protection for the animal. The back legs don't have any armour, though there is a few scutes going along the top of the animal. See, there are 3 toes at the front and 3 toes at the back. See, there's also some more smaller scutes and spikes going along the underside of the tail there. So yeah, he is very well armoured, especially to protect the underbelly. You can see there's some nice scale work under here. There's actually some sort of darkish brown coloration here where the cloaca would be. See some very nice scale work, especially on the belly here. Got the PNSO logo on there as well. So yeah, he is just full to the brim, packed with a lot of detail, including all these fantastic looking scutes and spikes. So yes, all of these spikes would have been very useful in helping to defend itself from the small velociraptor. Now, no known large carnivores were known from the area, though I think a few teeth and maybe a few isolated bones may suggest a large carnosaur living there, but I think those haven't really fully been described. But Velociraptor would definitely try and prey on these armoured tanks, definitely the juveniles, as their armour wouldn't have fully formed, but the adults definitely would have been very well protected, all of their armour. And of course, as I mentioned, Pinacosaurus actually seems to be one of the more gregarious members of the Ankylosaurian, with many juveniles found buried together around anywhere from 3 feet to 5 feet long. So maybe the juveniles spent a lot of their time living together and then joined, of course, the adults when they got much older as their armour formed over their body. So quite sad that a lot of these babies died together, but very important for understanding how these animals looked and may have behaved. Now, of course, Pinacosaurus isn't the only ankylosaur that they have done. They have also released Cedar, the Ankylosaurus, which, as you can see, just absolutely dwarfs Pinacosaurus, as Pinacosaurus was quite a small, stout ankylosaur that you could probably even ride on. I mean, it was that small, only about up to your hip at the tallest part of the back there. As you can see, the Ankylosaurus is much bigger, much heftier looking animal. But yeah, it's nice to see these two together. I don't have the Sauropelta or Borealipelta to bring in, but I do hope that PNSO do continue to make more ankylosaurs, as there are a lot of species that could be represented in this line. But I will leave a link to the review of Cedar in the description box below, so do feel free to check that out. Another fantastic ankylosaur figure. So all in all, Bart is a rather wonderful figure of a very cool ankylosaur, covered in an array of spikes and scutes, with a small looking club, but definitely would have been very effective at driving off predators, and potentially may have been insectivorous as well as herbivorous. So I think this is a very interesting animal, my favourite ankylosaur finally in figure form, and I think he's a wonderful addition. I wonder if we'll get Marge, Lisa, Homer and Maggie as well in figure forms. Who knows? We'll just see what PNSO will have in store for us with more of their ankylosaur figures. But yeah, definitely recommend this guy. If you want to pick up Bart, you can at Everything Dinosaur. I will leave a link in the description box below where you can purchase him, along with all of the other brand new PNSO figures. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please stay safe out there, guys. Please take care, and please wear your masks. Thanks, guys. Bye.